OKC, one of the largest betting favorites in NBA Finals history, and every team with better odds won the championship. But 2004 Lakers, who had the same odds, did get upset by the defensive-minded Pistons. So, Brew, you've rolled with Indy. Dusty, did we get that decision-making music in? Thank you. One of your many hometowns.
Yes.
And throughout the playoffs, you have yelled Naptown. You even brought in baby pictures to prove that you were actually from
I had to let the folks
Indianapolis. We went to Indianapolis, and we made social videos of you saying, welcome back, and you invited us to your elementary school if we wanted to look around your old stomping grounds.
St. Luke's.
Who you got in this final?
Well, I'm glad you didn't use the word betray.
No, I didn't.
Because that is way too strong of a word.
Yeah, especially because, I mean, you picked against Indiana in round two. Who do you pick for the Cavs?
Well, that's when the Cavs were healthy. The thing is, we have to remember why I'm on this show. It's not because I'm creative, even though I am.
That's
true.
Right, yeah.
It's not because I'm easy on the eyes, even though I've been told, It's not because I'm funny as all get out.
That's true.
Even though I am.
That's true, too.
I am on the show because of cogent analysis. All right?
Yes.
So I have to be objective in what I see as I predict this series. And because of that, I've been fretting this pick for a couple of weeks. But then my buddy, the great Nick Wright, showed me a couple weeks ago. There's a loophole in the bylaws.
What is he doing?
This is.
I didn't know it was admissible. I didn't know it was legal. But Nick showed me you can actually pick one team and root for the other.
No.
Before you give your
So because
hold
of
on,
that,
wait.
please.
Before you give your pick, can I just give you one plea here before you go?
Wait.
The audience doesn't understand that concept.
But also, here's the other thing. Before you go, Drew, you've picked against Oklahoma City repeatedly. You picked Minnesota to beat them.
And
You picked.
they've proven themselves. They proved themselves against Denver. They proved themselves against
What about how
Minnesota.
good show how good Indiana's been since January 1? Bruce taught me this draft.
I know.
Bruce showed me this.
But
I
I've
was like,
got to be.
It's the two best records.
All right, let
tomato,
me.
Tomato.
As you try to shoot down your loophole you showed us last week, I am picking
Put it on, Bruce.
the Oklahoma City Thunder in 6 games.
This doesn't work.
But I am rooting for,
this doesn't
pulling for, with all my heart and soul. In the words of Nick Wright, I hope I'm wrong because I bleed knockdown.
Doesn't work.
But you're going down.
This doesn't work. This does not work.
It's just the truth. It worked for him.
It didn't work. It did not work.
I mean, you let him do it.
I tried not to. I had conversations with him privately, and I said, hey, it's just anecdotal, but we do listen to the comments because we work for you. It's not the other way around. They're the customers. We're providing the product, okay? And a comment that we always get is, I was watching the game. I couldn't wait to see somebody, basically eat it. When the Chiefs are wrong, he has to eat it. We can't be like, I can't wait to see what they say because Brew was halfway right. You're right either way.
Halfway right?
Yes, you're right both ways. What if he now says, I'll pick the Patriots, but I hope I'm wrong?
He might say that. He said it last series.
It doesn't work. I'm sorry, Hub.
You should have shot it down
This is on
when
the
he
producers.
did it. You let it go. You let it
My
go.
fault.
You laughed at it. You played
I thought it was
along
horrible.
with it.
I thought it was bad television. I said it on air.
It was a loophole. I checked the bylaws. It was in there.
It also was a series, when I said it, that we didn't have a real emotional stake to. I didn't say it before the Super Bowl.
With the excuse.
I didn't say it before
because you thought the Chiefs were going to win.
Super Bowl.
You have never
where I was
thought
like, my
they were gonna
hometown
win.
team I just don't like the matchup, but I hope I'm wrong. Listen.
What should take precedent? My head, as you said earlier, or my heart?
I agree. Your head should take precedent. The point I am making that I was trying to make there is it'd be one thing if your upstart hometown Pacers ran into this team that you believed all year was a juggernaut.
I believe now.
But you have doubted OKC throughout.
Yeah.
But here's why have I doubted them?
Because they don't have any experience.
Right. You know who doesn't have any more experience than them, really?
What about Eastern Conference Finals MVP Pascal Siakam?
Pacers have been to the playoffs 2 years, the last 2 years, this group of Pacers.
Yeah.
Same as OKC. I mean, both of them are under experienced.
So
their average age is 1 year more than the Thunder. So I had to put on my analysis.
I get
it. It's not fun.
What about Rick Carlisle?
Carlisle's great, but so is Dagno.
I
had to put on the analyst hat. Would you rather me come up here and when they go down I'm going to give them 6 games.
No,
It could be 5. I'm going to give them 6. All right. When they go down, you'd rather me be up here when I really didn't believe they could win?
No, Brew,
I got to be an
That's
answer.
a fair point. Sorry.
You're right. Before I give my pick, can I ask a Carlisle question to you?
Yes. He's a great
If they
coach.
pull this off, Carlisle, who already has under his belt one of the best postseason runs a team has had this century. You know what I mean? Going through the 2-time defending champion Lakers, then going through, was it OKC in the next round? I think it was. Yeah, OKC, and then going through the big 3 in Miami. It was either OKC or the Spurs.
Players on those teams.
Right. That's why it was Kobe and Powell, Harden, Russ, KD, LeBron, D-Wade, Bosh. With one superstar in his team. That's 2011. Then doing in Indiana, if they were to execute one of the biggest the biggest comeback tied in finals history, it's an 2 championships with 2 different teams under those circumstances.
Well, he's obviously a Hall of Famer. Even I think without this win.
Was he one of the top 10 coaches on that list?
No, the 15.
The top 15.
Unless I'm mistaken, but I don't believe so. I think if he were to win this series, you could move him, who's always been, I've considered a top 5 coach, Larry Brown.
Oh.
I think you could move him ahead of Larry Brown. Larry got the 1 championship with the Pistons. Great upset. Larry had some stumbles throughout his career at times. Carlisle's had, dim years here or there, but it's going to take all his brain power and might.
Brew officially has Thunder in 6, maybe 5.
So, listen. Stylistically, I think this should be a fun series to watch.
I agree.
Number 1 defense against number 1 offense, and the best way to neutralize what the Pacers or what the Thunder do is to get out and run, to not let them set their defense, and that's what Indiana wants to do. However,
Thunder runs too.
The Thunder run as well, but the Thunder are also fine playing a half-court game, and the Pacers just want to run. However, this is one that since the start of round 2, I've been consistent on. I don't think anyone can beat Oklahoma City. And I know Wilds didn't like it. I apologize because maybe I set the template for this.
Well, it's in the bylaws.
Not only do I agree with Brew's exact pick, I'll say OKC in 5, maybe 6, but 5 is my pick. Last week, I had take of the year. I would like to give the audience the bet of the year, which is
be careful
in about 2 weeks' time.
Yeah.
You can get is 36% return on your money good, KW?
Oh, yeah, big time.
Okay. OKC minus a game and a half, meaning OKC to winning 4, 5, or 6. That's what it means. You lose the bet if they win in 7 or the Pacers win, is minus 275 on DraftKings. I'm telling you right now, now minus 275 is a lot of juice to lay. But not only do I find it very hard to see how the Pacers can win the series, I find it almost impossible to see how it can go 7. So that's where I will be placing my money, and that's where I'm at.
Looks like I'm the Pacers guy all of a sudden. Didn't know which way this was going to go. Didn't have a ton of notes, but I will remember something. Just that was floating around the internet that I think caught the attention of the Pacers. Do you remember that graphic when it was Cavs-Pacers? And it was, I think it was from ESPN, and it was a Cavs straight. Everyone chose the Cavs.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Don't the same arguments apply from Cavs-Pacers to Thunder Pacers?
Yeah.
Better
team, the great regular season.
Great regular season record, good defense. Oh, they're all together.
One superstar.
One real superstar.
I think OKC is just better than Cleveland.
And they're healthier
Tougher
than the
Cleveland,
Cavs were.
healthier.
They're healthier than the Cavs were.
Okay, I'm taking the Pacers.
You're just taking them just to be a
For the show.
contrarian.
He's doing it for the show.
I can't do it. Hubs just asked in my ear to.
Do it.
I can't do it.
You have to.
I'm not ready for it yet. I need to see a half. I'll do it at halftime.
Wait,
Do
what?
it.
He wants me to
So
yell.
now
He
you're
wants
not-
to do Naptown. Do
I
it.
grew up in Groton,
KW.
Connecticut. No, it's an insult to the Patriots.
Here, you can have this and do it with this.
That's still a picture of you.
Yeah, but I mean, and look, everybody
That's upside
knows
down,
I still got love for Naptown. I mean, I'm just keeping
I
it
did
real.
like
Here,
Indianapolis when we went there.
Here,
Thank you.
hold it up and
I'll do it like
yell
the Thunder,
at
too.
the top
Just
of
keep
your
putting it on.
lungs.
That's what you should have put it on me like the
Naptown.
Thunder.
Yeah.
I'm not going to.
Fist
Meanwhile,
in the air.
I'm not, see, then you should do it. Knicks trying to figure out what to do next year. Steady progress under Tibbs, but they may have hit a hard ceiling with Cat. James L. Edwards and Fred Katz writing in The Athletic. Players and coaches express frustration with Towns' defensive habits. Oh, well, you should have watched the Wolves. Less concerned with his talent level and more with his process on that end. Too often, Towns executed incorrect coverages without communicating why he didn't. After it became a theme, players worried Towns didn't grasp the importance of the matter. All right, so we're using this quote to get into a overall conversation on should the Knicks run it back next year?
Well, look, if you can get Giannis, obviously you go get Giannis. And Giannis is better than Jalen Brunson. Everybody understands that. But you need somebody even if Giannis gets there. So I'm keeping Jalen. Everybody else is on the board. Durant, we'll get to Durant, I guess, a little later. But I run it back. And what you hope is Cat, the pain, the criticism, makes him work harder defensively. And you talk to him, too. As the team, you talk like the coaching staff. Sit down with him film-wise. Get him to execute on defense. Put forth the effort. And stop making the silly fouls. And then, as I've said with Tibbs, offense, getting more movement, player and ball. And you got to get Tibbs to play the bench more, too. So you do those things. We talked about the East. It's right now, it's the Knicks and Indy. And Cleveland will be there, but Cleveland has faltered time and time again in the playoffs. Like, even though they were banged up, they've also had these just bouts of mental weakness, to be honest. And so I think the top two teams in the East, even if Giannis stays in Milwaukee, right now would be Indy and New York, because Boston without Tatum. And so with those tweaks, you add a little bit to your bench. But Shamet can play as a bench player, Landry Shamet. And your guy, McBride, they got guys that can get some minutes during the regular season on the bench. And then they'll be more prepared for the playoffs. And your starters will be more rested. So some of those tweaks, and then they got a shot to come out of the East.
So I would be fine with them just running it all back. Obviously, I think Giannis is a separate discussion entirely because, to me, it is such an obvious no-brainer that if you can add Giannis, you add Giannis.
Right.
The Durant thing is interesting because you can make arguments on both sides. He and Towns, I spent a lot of time on a bunch of different websites, NBA trade machines today, because I didn't have access to Bobby Marks directly to ask him how exactly this works. One website kept telling me I'm $200,000 away from making it work, and it can't work. Another one was like, trade works. But yeah, I'm going to assume that a KD, Karl-Anthony Towns trade can be consummated in the offseason when some of the restrictions lessen. It is worth contemplating under this prism. Do I think that it is good business to trade a player who's 7 years older than another All-NBA guy? Typically, I don't. Do I think that if you're the Knicks looking at next year as putting a few extra eggs into next year's basket when Boston's off the table,
I like this,
is worthwhile if in conjunction with it we get whomever, we get Brews guy Rick Brunson, whoever our number one assistant coach motivator guy is, to drive over to Mitchell Robinson's house and be like, hey, one of the reasons we're comfortable doing this is because we believe you can play 30 minutes a game. Because we believe you're going to come back next year and be a 60% free throw shooter. And we are going to start you. You are going to be our starting center. Yeah. Mitch Robinson, who in the past has kind of put out things on social media, not as of late, but like, I'm not just a rebounder, and like, you know, that we want to give you that bigger role. And we are going to, and if you're Phoenix, that's the best you're going to get for Durant. A guy who fits Booker's timeline. They were teammates, you know, they're buddies. They were teammates at Kentucky. Yeah. You know what I mean? Ishbia does not want to rip it down. Maybe he should, but he doesn't want to. I think that would be, I think Phoenix would be winning that trade, but I think the Knicks might be better for next season. And so that's something that especially when the alternative is Towns, who's on the books for like $61 million in a couple years and extension eligible this summer. That's a contract that Minnesota was afraid of. So you get out of the way of that. You keep your athletic wings. I think that is something.
You don't like that?
I'm not trading Karl-Anthony Towns for Durant at 37. Durant, remember, 37 in September. Injury prone himself. He's more injury prone than Karl-Anthony Towns. He got injured in the layup line a couple years ago. I mean, I know, that's a fact.
I know, but.
And then Mitchell Robinson is injury prone as well. I'm supposed to count on him. He's never healthy.
Hold on. Can I?
There's no way. And Nick, even in best case scenario, if that team were to win the East, which will be wide open, they winning it all?
Maybe.
That's not the East is not nearly as good as the West.
I understand, but we don't know.
I mean, once you get there, yeah, you got a chance. But I just at this point banking on Kevin Durant to lead. Like, I love him there with Brunson and Towns. But him instead of Towns, he doesn't improve my defense.
Oh, I think your defense
he's a little better than Towns defensively, but
your defense improves by your center becoming Mitchell Robinson full time and Durant out there. Can I push? Because I was not prepared for you to not like it because
it's typical Knicks. Look at how many superstars they brought here past their prime.
Agreed, but Durant's still an excellent player.
He scores.
Hold on, but that's
what he does.
Same with Towns. That's all Towns does.
Rebounds.
Okay, Towns rebounds.
And Towns scores inside, which I could draw fouls on the opponent. Durant's just going to shoot jumpers.
The reason I thought you would like it was because in one of the more controversial moments in this show's recent history, you said the Mavs should consider trading Anthony Davis for Durant. And I said that was an insane trade from the Mavs' perspective. We did a whole press conference about it.
There had to be somebody else. It was Durant and Kyrie.
It was because they have Cooper Flag now. I don't think it was because they have Cooper Flag now, and it was a whole thing. I don't
know that was exact, but even so, that's still a threesome. Like, I love Durant in New York with Towns and Brunson.
I don't think that's
just Brunson and KD. No.
But I mean, you
at
value
37?
But you value Towns more than the combination of OG and Bridges, because let's just say I don't even think that trade math-wise would work. But if I said, okay, trade Durant for OG and Bridges, then you can't guard anybody. Then now you can't guard anybody.
Everybody.
Are you a Tibbs team?
Now you're not guarding anybody. I think
you have three. Now all of a sudden Tibbs has three guys who aren't great defenders.
I still got heart. Durant's a decent defender. I'm just saying he's not much of an upgrade over Towns. Okay. It would be an issue.
If they did the trade I said, Brew, don't you think you'd pick the Knicks to win the East?
Not necessarily, no.
I mean, the day after, if we're like, hey, who do we think's in the best position?
We are susceptible to that. little recency bias.
I
when we
just
look at
think
the show.
it's all his. Obviously, Kevin Durant's been a better player than Karl-Anthony Towns. His age, his injury history, and then banking on Mitchell Robinson, feel like every year of his career he's been hurt and out for half the season at least.
Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get more from the show and to check out clips from other shows on FS1.